the screenshot is horrible. So I'm trying to get, okay. Your letter specifically cited in your letter, let's see, demands that I preserve all evidence. It's just going crazy. Sorry about that. All evidence, including all electronic communications and social media posts, to prevent the spoliation of evidence. Therefore, I am legally and ethically unable to comply with your demand to delete the post in question. To do so would be a violation of the very preservation instruction your firm has issued, potentially exposing me to sanctions for the destruction of evidence that you have deemed relevant to a potential dispute.
Can you zoom in on that letter one more time?
Whew. Every time I zoom in, it just goes bonkers. Okay, let me try again. Okay. But it won't allow me to scan. It won't allow me to scroll over.
I wonder how he drafted this. Like if he used a certain program.
ChatGPT.
I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it can make you some good arguments and stuff. And that's what I'm saying. He did a good job identifying that catch-22. And now he seeks clarification. But catch the tone. The tone is not completely, oh, I'm willing to comply. Here's what he's doing. The tone is, F you, basically. I'm not going to comply with anything you say. Kick rocks, like you said. and then, to try to plead victimhood, like, oh, you want me to do things I can't. This is like dealing with a teenager that you give them an instruction and then they want to somehow come up with a reason they can't follow it. Oh, you want me to do this.
Stop talking about my children, Nick. Stop talking about my kids, man. Why are you talking about my kids like that?
Some people never grow up. They got the Peter Pan syndrome. And I don't know if this individual does, but it's pretty sad when it's, like a content creator, all they can do for views is accuse other people of crimes. It's like, and then name themselves Project Constitution. Can you believe it?
I totally can. So I think that, and I'm going to talk about discovery and further. I'm going to read the last part as well. I did send it to you in the private chat so you can have it, so you can like zoom in a little bit more on it, because it's just, I don't know why, it's just super wonky on this one. He says this: while I do not seek unnecessary litigation, I am prepared to defend my work in court should Ms. Kirk and TPUSA choose to proceed. I would welcome the opportunity to discovery process, which would allow for this is what I'm talking about.
He sent this?
Yeah, the transparent and thorough examination of every question my reporting has sought to answer. Questions that to date, Mrs. Kirk and TPUSA have declined to address publicly. Real quick, Nick, because I would love for you to address this part. Is every question a good question?
I mean, no, not every question's a good question. But he's like,
well,
go ahead.
So then, therefore, if I say Nick is being paid by the anti-bald head black guy association to attack me, therefore I should be able to see Nick's finances. That's almost what he's saying. That's how I'm interpreting, because some of the questions that they've asked are insane. They're crazy. So there's no way that you can answer that. Like, and again, maybe you should just say, look, that's not relevant to the scope of this, whatever. But I think, reading the comments last night in my own chat as well as others, it does seem like people think like, oh, if I sue Nick, I get discovery. I'm sorry, if Nick sues me, I get discovery for everything. I can know about the lint in his pockets and the change under his seat in his car, everything. I'm gonna know everything. You don't.
No. And then too, there's practicalities. It's like a lot of people, like you said, they have this idea that they can just get everything. They can't. There's limits to discovery, as you identified with the scope. And then also too, let's get very practical. So we just discussed some of the legal boundaries you have. Practically, doing discovery costs money. It costs thousands of dollars typically. Like if you want to do depositions, because I suppose, in discovery, he's going to want to depose Erika Kirk at some point, right? If he's the defendant, in a case. Guess what? Does he have the money to pay an attorney to sit down for 7 hours to depose Erika Kirk? I doubt it. I mean, I really question if this guy has the funds to fund this defense that he acts like he is. He's gonna get a set of discovery questions if he continues this, and he's gonna say, "Wow, I don't know what's going on or how to do any of this." Then he's gonna call an attorney, and the attorney is gonna quote him $5, $10, $15, $20,000, maybe more. And then if he doesn't have that in the bank to pay or to finance somehow, good luck, man. All you've done is walk yourself into a civil litigation headache. And if you don't respond to the discovery, well, all that stuff can be used against you. And then Erika Kirk can maybe move for judgment on the negative,
Wow.
or failed to file answers to discovery. So it's really reeking of pump my chest. I'm real big and powerful,
You're right.
but there's no money. You don't have money. And that's so much of what law is. Like, you got to have the money to pay this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, there's some great comments. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. If you're just jumping in, I have Nick Brooks. He's a friend of the channel and a legal mind, as you can tell. He definitely knows what he's talking about. And I sent him Project Constipation's cease and desist letter, as well as his response letter this morning. And he said he would be happy to hop on and answer some of my questions and talk about this. So this is great. I really appreciate it, Nick. Okay, this is a point, and I wanted to bring this up. Thank you so much, Goals to Wellness. I forgot to say this. If he wanted to be in compliance, he could make the videos private.
Yeah.
If
I mean, and
he
you
could
still
make them
have
private,
the videos,
and they're still up. Yeah. So it wouldn't violate that, because if they say where the videos go, you took it down, say, no, I made them private, so that, and then you can make it unlisted and just send them the link so they can see that you did in fact leave them up. So that would be a way to, I don't know if you can do that on X, but I know you can do it on YouTube. So that's one. But this is interesting. So if a lawyer is a content creator, Nick, and the lawyer is involved in this, he or she has been spreading defaming comments about Erika Kirk, and they get sued, could they represent Project Constitution? Do you feel?
No, I think there would be some ethical conflicts that would arise to, like, where, if you're a lawyer, I have to really kind of think about that and break it down. It's a wonderful question. But really it's like the facts of that lawyer's own personal life case would intertwine too much with the representation of that particular individual, such that, that lawyer could anticipate being called as a witness maybe in, his own client's case, and a lawyer cannot act as a witness for,
Right.
in a case they represent. And so, like, that's that's generally true. It's all state governed. So Maryland has their own stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, if I'm a lawyer and I'm involved, hell, I've commented on some of this stuff with Candace Owens and her affairs, Erika Kirk. And, like, let's say somebody came to me about representation in this context. I don't think it would be very ethical of me to do, because, I've put out videos and things of this nature, and I'm analyzing it. So yeah, you just got to always, as a lawyer, be smart about, whatever representation you take on, that there's going to be no potential conflicts between your own interests and your client's interests, such that, hey, I may have to defend myself and throw my own client under the bus. If you anticipate that whatsoever, you need to decline representation and give them notice in writing on why you can't do this. So they have a full understanding as well.
Okay. Yeah, because I guess there's another guy I didn't know, but somebody mentioned that. I know he's been, very strong in the anti-Erika space. And somebody, Jennifer said Baron Coleman will probably do it for him pro bono. And I'm like, well, if he's involved in, if he gets a cease and desist, I don't know if he would want to do that, because it might cause a problem.
Man, that's a tough question. I don't know. There's probably a good argument against what I just said, because I don't know who Baron Coleman is, but I presume he's an attorney who is so inspired by this anti-Erika Kirk stuff that he wants to maybe represent a couple of what he believes are other content creators that support his message. Oh, wow. I'm from Tennessee, so.
Yeah, you sure are. Yeah.
Tennessee people don't shut their mouth sometimes. So I can see, Coleman probably doing that. But yeah, no, I mean, if Coleman has a good argument, I would be interested to hear it. I'm not going to completely say that I'm right. I'm not God. I don't know everything. But I think it just seems to reek of maybe a potential or actual conflict of interest. So.
Got you. And if somebody's not licensed or not practicing anymore, let's say that you, Nick, in 50 years, you're retired from practicing, but you've always been a defamation lawyer and such like that, and you retire, you're no longer practicing. And I don't know if that practicing and licensing are the same, but you're retired. could you write something for somebody who is in this case, or is that like breaking the law? And they're in your state, the state that you're in, all that kind of stuff. Could you write something, or is that like practicing without a license?
Yeah, that would be, I mean, to me, the way you framed it, it would be, practicing without a license. Basically, through the endeavor you described seems to be representing an individual,
Right.
in court. That's generally considered the practice of law.
Okay.
And, if you're not licensed and, you've deactivated your license through retiring or not paying your fees and stuff, well, then you don't have a right to represent people in court. You need a license to
Mm.
do that.
Okay. And I brought that up because Ruben said that. He said he doesn't think that the gentleman is licensed. I'm like, well, I don't think you can do those things. Then you're not going to be able to represent Project Constipation or do any writing for him because you yourself are not licensed. And I think
Yeah, I
that would
mean, if
probably
they're
be
if they're just
problematic.
two unlicensed people tossing each other different legal ideas, I mean, it's like if you got a friend in your life, right, who's like, "Hey, I heard of this case, look it up." I don't know if that qualifies as legal representation or
Right.
they send you some information or their opinion on something.